In this module, we will walk through the process of migrating SharePoint Online Site Collections using on-demand migration. Let's begin by accessing the SharePoint module. The site collections are displayed under the SharePoint contents. If site collections are not displayed in your project, perform the Discover Site Collections task. For this example, I will migrate the marketing site collection. One of the best practice approaches is to determine if the target tenant has a pre-existing site collection. By doing this, you can select the site collection and perform the match operation. Click Next and Finish. Here, I will just give it a name for marketing. To view the status of any task, you can click the task link and view the status. So the matching task for marketing has been completed. If you need to view the individual details, select the task and click on Events to view the details. Now that the operation has been completed, we can go back to SharePoint Contents, locate the site again. If needed, you can actually perform a search to find the individual content necessary. Let's use marketing and now perform the migration by clicking on the Migrate tab. The configuration wizard pops up, allowing us to configure the migration operation. The first step is identifying an account for orphaned users or unmatched users. Think of this as if users existed in the source, but their account no longer exists in the target, sometimes known as an orphan user, you can specify a particular account in which the metadata property will get updated with in the target environment. The second option is to include the actual child content, meaning subsites, as well as the physical content itself, the list items and documents. If the target site collection exists, we have the option to clear the selected SharePoint objects from the target. In my case, my match operation validated that we do not have a matching site collection on the target. So in this case, that option is not necessary. Click Next to move to the next operation. For this configuration option, identify how you want to handle the migration of version history. The default is to migrate the most recent versions. Second option is to migrate the two most recent versions. The third option is to migrate more versions of the content. Please make note that selecting more versions in the migration can increase the time of the overall migration. This option is configured into two parts. The first part is migrating version history based off of the size of the most recent version of the document. We default the size to 80 megabytes. You can select as low as 32 megabytes or as high as 512 megabytes. The second option is selecting the number of versions per day to include in the migration. We default to the migrate most recent versions for each day. Second option is to migrate the 5 most recent versions for each day created in the last 30 days. Below, you specify the maximum number of versions to be migrated. We default to 30 and go up to 365. After you've made your selections, click Next. With on-demand migration, you have the ability to execute the task now, later, or on schedule. Select the time and date in which you want to perform the migration. For this example, I will go ahead and execute now. Click Next. You have a summary, and in this case, I will put in the title, Marketing. Click Finish when you're ready to begin the migration. To view the status of the migration, you can click on View Details or the task link. The task you will notice is currently running. To view any specific events per task, select the task and click the Events link. For the purpose of speeding up this video, I'm going to speed up the migration process. Upon completion, you can go back to the tasks to identify if the overall migration task has completed. So you will notice that the migration of the marketing site collection has been completed. Again, if you need to view any of the events per the task, Select the Events link here, and you have a display of all of the events that occurred during the migration. This concludes the migration of SharePoint site collections with on-demand migration.